What's going up, everybody? This is Jeff with Altcoin Buzz. So, I want to make this video here before I go out and enjoy the rest of my Christmas. And the reason I'm going to make this video is to answer some of the questions that have been coming in and maybe provide some additional insights into how to invest and be successful in a bull market like we're in right now without taking losses unnecessarily and stuff like that. So, again, this is not professional financial advice, but this is what's worked for me, and this is what works collectively for most successful investors. If you get a chance, you can read books on how to successfully invest, and most of them always say the same thing. Once you can mentally prepare yourself to accept any and all losses that could potentially be there, then you will have mentally prepared yourself for any and all gains that you would make. Meaning that don't invest any money that you cannot afford to lose. Okay, so the best way to look at it is have a day job, and then also, if you do choose to participate in the market, invest money that you can afford to lose. Don't try to gamble, and don't try to, um, you know, basically place bets unnecessarily to try and pay your rent or anything like that. If you believe a coin has great tech, a great team, and it's a solid project, and you see that it's undervalued, and you take out an investment, that's not a gamble. That's an investment. Okay, and if you're doing that who knows, maybe if you put $1,000 in something that you see that is comparable to something way, 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 way up there, and you're like, this is even better tech, and in 6 months it will be there. That's an investment. Okay, and you might see 5 times, 6 times gains. Okay, but we've seen that it can even be even higher than that. All right, so my big thing that I always stress in the videos, and I'm making this video specifically for the people who have maybe taken some losses unnecessarily, maybe got a little bit antsy and got scared. So my most recent video I posted, someone said, "Hey Jeff, should I sell Verge? I'm getting a little bit scared." And so that pretty much led me to this video, because there's been multiple different posts similar to that. So my question to that would be, okay, so let's take a look at Verge. If you're one of the type of people who jumped into Verge, right? So maybe you FOMO'd into Verge. You bought high, right? So you bought it, I don't know, maybe 38 cents or 30 cents, maybe 28 cents. So you're like, oh man, it's down to 18 cents. Should I sell before it goes all the way down? Well, my general rule of thumb is if I buy high and it peels back on me, I just wait it out, meaning I hold. So if I just look at Verge here, Verge has shown that it peaks, pulls back, peaks, pulls back, peaks, pulls back. So just in the historical reference point, and that's all we have to go off of. Obviously, we have nothing else to go off of other than historical data, but it would suggest that Verge peels back and then it pumps back up again, or it goes back up again. So I would say I don't know how long it could take, but my general rule of thumb is to hold and not take a loss. So there's no reason, as one of you guys yesterday said, if you're taking losses in a bull market, something's severely wrong with your trading strategy. And I completely agree with that. Like, I could not love that post anymore. And what I mean by that is we are completely, totally in a bull market. A bull market, for those of you who do not know, a bull market is when it's just overall growth. The market has been going up, up, up. So if we're in a market that goes up, 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 all right, even when it peels back, see, we've seen a little bit of a peel back in the last, in a little bit of time. But in the long haul, we've seen these before where it goes up, peels back, goes up, peels back, okay? So you have to get used to these dips, these peelbacks. That's accumulation time. This is sell time. So when it's up here, this is sell, this is buy. So that's a very important thing to point out. You don't buy at all-time highs, okay? You wait for the next dip to jump in. We just had a recent dip, right? So you would have jumped in then. So instead of saying, oh man, they call it FOMO, fear of missing out. Instead of having a fear of missing out on an opportunity, you wait, you say, okay, I'll wait for the next dip and I'll buy back in, because what goes up always peels back, right? It always comes back down. So if you're seeing these things happen, and it's in the chart. So just by looking at a chart, you can see up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. You guys, the more you know about that, so you can even see it does it even here recently. So you wouldn't buy here. So when you guys are scared or like worried, that's what we usually like to say. That's the time to accumulate, okay? Like Bitcoin, for example. When it peeled back on us, so Bitcoin's sitting at 14,210. So when Bitcoin peeled back, I was not buying Bitcoin at these prices because I wasn't buying Bitcoin around any of these prices. The last time I bought Bitcoin was around about 14,000 or 15 to 4, at low 15, high 14, and then I bought again when it went down to 13. Okay, and then I had already taken out my positions on Bitcoin, my new fractions of Bitcoin, because I don't buy full Bitcoin because that's a lot of money for me. So I just buy like a 0.1 Bitcoin or something like that, right? And then I'll sit on it and wait for it to mature and then go back into the market and find other buying opportunities, or I'll just fork it into another buying opportunity in a coin that I'm really bullish on. So now I haven't bought any more Bitcoin. The next time I would possibly buy any more Bitcoin is if Bitcoin pulled around the $10,000 range. So I've already taken out my positions here just in case it shot back up again. But I was also aware that it could continue to go down, and I was okay with that because if it went below $10,000, then I would accumulate again and believing and feeling as though that based on the way the charts look, it'll always go back up because the historical on Bitcoin is the same as the market. Up, down, up, down, up, down. It's just like push-ups, guys. Up, down, up, down. So we know that that's what the general trend is. So when it does something like this where it pulls back, to me, it's been historically with Bitcoin, it's been the time to buy. When Bitcoin goes to 20,000, I don't jump into Bitcoin because I would have said, well, I'd rather miss the boat than try to jump in at a high price because it could peel back. And more often than not, from what I've discovered, is it always does peel back. So there's times this is why you'll notice a lot of the seasoned veterans in investing, when something goes really high, they kind of become pessimistic about it and talk about a bubble and stuff. So they don't buy high. They kind of almost want it to come back down so that they can get it at a sale price, at a bargain. Like me, I've even found myself saying, obviously as an investor in Bitcoin, I'm like, oh man, I could use more Bitcoin. I'd like to get more Bitcoin, but I'm not going to buy at all-time highs. So I'll say in my head, I'll be like, man, I can't wait for Bitcoin to come back down. Okay, and I say that because I'm looking to get good deals on something. It's like, if you're a smart shopper, you don't buy at full retail price. You wait for it to go on sale, right? More often than not. If you go in there and you get a car, do you buy it at the listed tag price, or do you try to get it at a lower rate and try to get maybe the Bluetooth stereo installed with power windows and whatever tow kit, whatever you guys are trying to get on your car? You don't just say, yeah, I'll take it stock just at the same asking price, right? Because then that the resale value on it is going to not be as great as if in case you ever needed to sell it, right? So it's that same approach to the market. You don't want to buy high, okay? You buy low. And I know I say that a lot, but I'm trying to explain it to the best way because when people say to me, Jeff, should I sell Verge? Me holding Verge also, I'm in it with you. My strategy is if Verge goes like really low, I'll buy more. Like, for example, here's a great example of this, Cardano. So this is what I did on Cardano. This is kind of my history with Cardano. So I bought at 2 cents, right? I bought Cardano at 2 cents. Then I sold at like 10, 11, 12 cents. I can't remember the exact price. Okay. Then I watched Cardano kind of balance out. I was waiting to see if Cardano would pull back, but it didn't. Okay. Then it went back up on another run, and it went all the way up above 50 cents. Right when it started to rise here, I wanted to jump back in at 30 cents because I saw I felt as though Cardano had massive momentum. So once I saw that, I wanted to jump in, but I didn't because I was like, well, what if it's at an all-time high and it tops out? Well, it didn't. But then it went all the way up to 55 cents. So knowing that I had already sold here and took profit and already forked that into something else, what I did, so I took profit, forked it into something else, and now I saw value in Cardano again at these prices in the 30 cent range, 37-cent range, right? So instead of buying here and FOMOing into Cardano, sure, people were like, man, you need to get into Cardano. It's going to go to the moon. This thing's on a trajectory. Because I stood firm on my approach, I said, well, okay, I'll buy again when it comes into the 37-cent range or when it pulls back off of its high. Because now my thought is that at some point Cardano will revisit this high. So I looked at it as a bullish investment. It was a strong investment for me. So now it's up to, what is it at? It's at 43 cents. I could sell now and take some of my profit at 16%, or I hold and I wait for it to revisit these highs. Now, if Cardano pulls back again, so let's say Cardano is not done dying or not done pulling back and it pulls back to 20 cents or wherever I figure out the bottom to be, what I will do is I will then buy more Cardano. Personally, I will buy more Cardano if it pulls back. If I will not be panicked because my thought is I'm not trying to day trade. Day trading is basically if you're trying to trade your positions to pay your rent or trying to trade your positions to pay whatever you're trying to pay in the short term. That is from what I've observed, that can be misleading. That can be problematic to your entire investment strategy. So what you should do is you should take out positions, realizing that you need to be patient with this, but that it does have potential to go up very fast. You could, like, when I bought at 2 cents, I was buying right around here at 2 cents, and then within 2 weeks it shot up to 14 cents, which was a huge gain because it was a 6 times gain, 7 times gainer. Here, if you bought at 10 cents and it goes up to 53 cents, that's a 5 times gainer, right? So it's just a patience game. You got to have patience. That's why they use that word HODL, HODL, which is also known as hold. So the reason they say that is because if you panic sell anything, that's when you take a loss. And I know a lot of you guys are taking losses out there because I used to do that way back when I was starting out. I used to get into a position. I used to watch it every day. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd check my chart, and if it was in the red, I would say, oh man, and I would text my friend who said that I should buy it, and I'd say, are you sure this thing's going to go up? Because I'm kind of scared. And what ended up happening was 2 months later, I'd check it, and the next thing it was up. And I was like, why did I sell? And that was when I got a really strong lesson on smart investment strategy. And it really just kind of goes back to the same thing. You buy the dip, so you buy low, you sell high. And if it's dipping on you, and you're really bullish on the position, when it pulls back even more, the action you take is buy more, not sell, okay? Because you're willing to wait it out for as long as it takes to revisit these highs. Because in a bull market, more often than not, when a cryptocurrency reaches a high, it more than likely, at least 70% of the time, maybe even higher, it will revisit its highs, especially in a bull market. Unless the market turns to a bear market. So if you start hearing people saying that we're in a bear market, okay, whether it's me or someone else saying that we're in a bear market means that instead of going up, it's pulling back. You can see that in a chart with the NASDAQ. If you go to the NASDAQ chart, you can see the historical on the NASDAQ. You'll see when the market pulls back for an extended period of time. So a bear market is when, I don't know, maybe so let's say that 2017 was a bull market year for cryptocurrency, where it went up, up, up. The opposite would be the case for a bear market, where the bear market is down, down, down for an extended period of time. And in an extended period of time, there's a lot of people who make a lot of money who are experienced and willing to wait it out. For example, in 2008, when stocks went way down and people lost a lot of money, there was a lot of people who made a lot of money because they bought the dip, they bought at the lows. And then when the economy recovered and stocks went back up, they made a lot of money on the way up. And I'm talking like Ford stock went to like as low as $5, and people would, a lot of people had Ford at $15, $16, and when it went down to $5, they were like, oh man, I got to they were like on desperate times, so they cashed out. But if they would have just held for 2 to 3 more years, they would have returned all their money. So it is. So investing is a hold thing. It's like when you buy a house, when you buy a car, you don't buy the house to sell it the next month, right? Same thing with these stocks and these cryptocurrencies. You don't buy the stock, you don't buy the cryptocurrency to sell it in the short term thing. Sure, day trading is a thing you can do, but that's different than investing. When you're investing in cryptocurrency, you're willing to wait. So you're always going to see these kind of topsy-turvy scenarios, and you just have to accept it as part of it, as coming with the territory. And you've seen it here. And if you look at the Bitcoin chart overall, you've seen that Bitcoin has done this. I mean, up, down, up, down, up, down, and it continues to go up. At some point in time, if the bubble were to pop, or if we enter into a bull market, it could get crazy. But as you can see, the reason that a lot of people are excited about this correction that we're having, so to speak, is because look at this absolute trajectory of power that it took. So you know that when something takes this kind of magnitude of trajectory, it's like throwing a baseball. If you throw a baseball straight into the air, at some point in time it's going to reach a peak and it's going to drop. But you will throw the ball again back up into the air, and you will try and throw it higher than you did the previous time. Kind of thing like that, okay? So that's kind of what this is. It's like throwing the ball really high up and realizing it's going to come down, okay? But it's not going to come all the way back down. It doesn't just crash, because that would be a market crash. If it just dumped all the way down. Now, if it does dump like that, the thing that you have in your mind is that you're in this for 3 to 5 years, okay? So if you're putting money in that you don't need for 3 to 5 years, so just say I'm in this for the 3 to 5 year run, then you won't be so emotionally attached to anything when it knee jerks like this. Like when you get knee jerks like this, when Verge goes up, when Verge goes down, you won't be emotionally attached to it. You can make educated, logical decisions. And I'm making this video to hopefully clear the air with you guys on why it's important to buy the dips and not buy at all-time highs. So right now, we're in a bit of a buying opportunity still right now, because things are peeled back off all-time highs. So I make this video. Here, let's see, I got another question coming in. Okay, so I got a question coming in. Let me ping on this question here. How to tell from the market cap if a coin is worth a buy or a sell? I go on marketcap.com and not sure how the market cap works. Also, anyone heard of Crypto Shopper as well? Okay, see, this is why I'm making this video, because he's asking how to tell from the market cap if a coin is worth a buy or a sell. So I'm going to throw that in there, thanks to him. Okay, so Nuke World 999, he says how to know if a coin's on at a good buy. Well, here's how I kind of do it. So for example, Ripple, I see Ripple at $39 billion, right? And I'm like, well, what if Verge reached the current market cap of Ripple? What would Verge's price look like, right? So I try to find comparison. Now, bear in mind, RippleNet is different than Verge's privacy element. So maybe what I'd be looking for is another microtransaction privacy coin similar to Verge to see if that's out there. So in order to do that, what I would do is I would come back down here, and I'm looking at the market caps being below. Sometimes you go out of the top 100, you'll find awesome deals. But you have to really dig in here and look at all these coins. That's why this Burst coin came onto my radar when John McAfee tweeted it, is because of the microtransaction element that exists with it and seeing the potential in that. So I personally really am bullish on solid projects. If you find a solid project that's below $100 million market cap, and you see that it's comparable to the likes of Cardano or IOTA or NEM, but it's undervalued like those coins were a year ago. Those coins, when they hit the market, whether it was a year ago or 6 months ago or 5 months ago, depending upon the project, when it hit the market, it didn't hit the market with massive volume. That grew over time as they continued to develop their project. You've seen that with Ethos, right? Ethos was once 49 cents, and now it's 274. And here's an example of something that I saw. So Rise, this is a similar app. This is similar to, I guess you could say like Lisk. It's also similar to Ethereum. So I saw the potential in Rise because I'm like, well, it's an application developer platform, and I said, well, okay, so this is an application developer platform. It's fairly similar to Lisk in the sense of what it's doing, and it's got a way lower market cap than Lisk. So I was like, let's look at the Lisk market cap. So it's over 2.7. And I said, well, if this one's at one, I was like, if this one could even, maybe it's not as strong as a project as Lisk, but if it gets to at least half of where it was, of where Lisk is, then I was like, well, this, to me, it was obvious that this one was going to go up. So that's why, because it's just like Lisk, and I saw the price of Lisk at the time being $5, and this being what, 30, I was buying this at 30 cents, or in that range right there. So I was buying this at 25 cents, and I saw that Lisk at the time was about $5. So I said, well, if this goes up to the same price as Lisk, which I still think it will, at 25 cents, I knew I was gonna make a lot of money on Rise. And so far, it's been going up, same as Lisk. Okay. Now here's another thing. If I bought at 25 cents, and let's say that Rise goes up to $23, I'll be pretty stoked, right? So what I'm suggesting is that where Lisk is now, okay, and where it will be in 1 year from now. So let's say Lisk goes to, I don't know, let's say that Lisk at some point were to go to Ethereum's market cap of $74 billion, and Ethereum goes to Bitcoin's market cap, and Bitcoin goes to $1 trillion market cap. Now, these are all hypotheticals. We don't know for sure, but these are things that I would look at myself. I'm like, where's the best buy here? I'm like, well, it's with Lisk in this case, because if Lisk reaches this market cap, when I bought it at $5, now sitting at $23, when it goes to this price, if I just did the math, I would say I would take their circulating supply into that market cap right there, and then I would know what the price of Lisk would be. But then I said, well, what's another Lisk project that's trading at where Lisk was? See, if you look at Lisk here, Lisk was once trading at 16 cents. So what I was trying to do was find the next Lisk, right? So I saw that Lisk was once trading at 25 cents in April. So I was like, well, if I'm willing to wait it out for a year or 6 months, maybe I'll find another Lisk project in the making. And then, so I was like, well, it'll make it to this price in 6 months. And that was where I found Rise. See, so as you can see, Rise is now on that trajectory. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for low market cap coins that have similar projects with strong similar projects, right? So where do you find a project like Rise? You find that down here out of the top 100. So to me, there's a lot of room to grow in coins that are below $100 million if they're a strong project. You have to be willing to go in there and take a look. So that's where you find these things that are solid buys, where you can get the gains. You're looking for the next top 10 coin, top 20 coin outside of 100 right now. That's basically what I'm doing. But remember, that is a total waiting game. Like when Rise would go down, I would not panic. Like if I bought at 25 cents and I'd see Rise go to 18 cents, I would buy more Rise because I'm making an educated decision. What I mean by that is I'm looking at the project, I'm determining whether or not I believe that this is a solid project. And once I realize that I believe in the project, then it doesn't matter what the price does because I know that we're in a bull market and that the project is a strong project that's undervalued. So at some point in time, I know that it's going to go up. Now that is a very big gold nugget that I just shared with you right there. So if you can determine if the project is a good, solid project, and we're still in a bull market, those two signals right there indicate hodl, wait, buy low. When it pulls back, if you buy 25 cents, don't panic, because even when Rise went down, I was like, I had to go relook at the project. I was like, oh man, what did I get myself into with this? But because I knew, I was like, just be patient, man. Just be patient. I kept telling myself, just be patient. And so far, as you can see, it's gone up, and it's really on an amazing trajectory. So you can find other projects just like this that you can see similarities in, and I'm waiting to see if this will reach that $5 range that Lisk was at when I first analyzed it. But then I'm starting to think, what if it reaches that $24 mark that Lisk is at, and I bought it at 25 cents? So it's just a matter of waiting it out, being patient, and hoping the market remains bullish. So if we still remain in a bull market, rise will continue to rise. And that's the point that I'm making. So thank you guys for watching. If you're new here, you can subscribe to this channel. You can check us out on Twitter at altcoinbuzzio. You can check us out on Instagram at altcoinbuzz. Let's see how much we've grown. Okay, we're almost at 6,400. Cool. So anyways, guys, we will see you guys next time.